Good morning guys, and welcome back to the Backyard Photographer channel. My name is Chang. Today we're testing a very interesting little lens. This is the Astrhori 14mm f5.6. The package have arrived to me from the Astrhori factory. They want me to have a test of the lens and provide some feedback. Although I live a bit far, but over the years I have acquired a few lenses that from the Chinese manufacturer. Well, I have to say the stuff are getting better. This lens is in the Leica M mount. A decent looking package. Inside of it, we have the instructions and the calibration method. The exterior textures feels nice and smooth. The lens barrel feels solid, although it's very light in hand with a weight less than 150 grams. This lens have a 14mm focal length with 5 aperture blades. The widest aperture is 5.6. With the closest focusing distance of 0.4 meters, it can be achieved on any mirrorless cameras with adapter. The focusing throat is rather short, from 40 cm to infinite. The rotation is about 90 degrees. The aperture range is designed to be smooth, without any click between each aperture marks. From large to smaller apertures, the distance between each stop are closer, although it can be precisely focused, but I think this lens is more designed for scale focusing. I have found a few lenses which I often used on my Leica, the Zeiss 50mm 1.5 and the Leica 35 f2, the Canadian version, the old Voigtlander 50 1.5 and the very sexy 50mm from the Light Lens Lab. To provide a visual comparison between these and the 40mm, considering the look and size, it doesn't look too awkward among those guys. With the aperture as small as 5.6, I'm wondering if this can even be designed as a pancake lens. Almost all lens review videos contain that legendary picture which may look like this. This photo is shot on the Sony a7 III. The graded cutting mat provides some guidelines for lens distortions and vignette. As you can see, they are rather well controlled. But somehow when I use this lens on a digital Leica, both distortion and vignette is increased. As a film shooter, I couldn't help to test the lens on my Leica M2. For lens review purposes, I also test this on the M240. So this is my second roll in the camera. It's a Lomography 400. One of the things that drive me away from using this lens is the aperturing. It's just overly smooth, and whenever you're trying to focus, you're always turning this aperture ring instead of this actual focusing ring, which is sitting behind and a little bit stiff. And this one is overly smooth. So there's a couple of shots in my roll that I'm pretty sure severely underexposed because I accidentally changing this instead of the focusing ring. Apart from shooting film, I do want to see what's the performance like on the digital sensor. So this is like a 240. Let's see what we can do. Apart from shooting on the street, I also try to document in daily life using this lens. In the broad daylight, with a small aperture, the rangefinder camera feels more like a point and shoot. Let's summarize the pros and cons. The pros: small in size, very light body weight. The image quality is very good on the digital sensor, very short focusing throat. I think this lens was born for street photography. The design flaws is quite obvious too. The aperture ring is at the most dominant position and very easy to get touched when focusing. And there's no click between each stops, which means you can't adjust the aperture precisely without looking at the lens. The manufacturer claimed this design is more considered the needs of the video shooters, which I'm not really buying because the focusing distance is too short for that. And with the short focusing distance, the scale mark on the lens needs to be more accurate, but it's not. It didn't even provide a guideline for 5.6 aperture mark. So personally, I quite enjoy using this little compact lens, although I wish the aperture can be a little bit wider than f5.6, so you can use that for portrait as well. If you're a film shooter just want to try the 40mm lens, then there are quite a few other options out there. Some of them are new, some are off-market, you can only purchase second-hand. But one of the alternatives, apart from this lens, will be the Rollei 35. It's also equipped with a 40mm lens. But this camera is getting more expensive now. When I bought it, it's about 150 bucks. I think it was 1.5 years ago. Nowadays, looking on eBay, it's probably start with 200, more than 200, all the way up to 500 US. But the earlier versions or the different versions, let's see the Rollei 35B, if you look, you can still get this under or just around 200 bucks. If you want SLRs, the best choice will be the Pentax 40mm f2.8, the little pancake one. There are other options if you're using the M-body with 40mm lens. There are the Voyage Lander series from f2.8, the sexy little pancake ones, all the way up to the f1.2, but the massive aperture comes with a massive price. That one sells over $1,000, and even the smaller 2.8 sells about 500 bucks. So that's pretty much it from today. My name is Chang. This is the Backyard Photographer channel. I'll see you next time.